sometimes I no. Recently I was with my family, my extended family, and it was kind of crazy just because you don't see them in a while. And I had people my age, and you kind of just see how you diverge after a while, and how much parenting and like your actual upbringing, your experiences can really mold you, because we have, some level of a genetic base that we all come from. We have the same sort of lineage. But, I mean, like, sometimes I just couldn't understand other people. I think something interesting is how we take for granted what we can do, and we assume others can do it, or that's the baseline. So that really struck me because of how I feel like other people don't really think through what they're doing or why they're doing things. And, emotional restraint, just not being, you know, bursting out. I've learned to put like a pause between me and my immediate reactions, and I don't like unload on people. And the thing is, I don't know when I started doing it, but I've done it for so long. It's more, it's easier for me to just restrain myself, and, I'm more worried about blowing up at somebody than just doing it. Like, I genuinely can't just get angry at somebody and yell at them, or I can't just like move in the moment. I feel like it's like I always have to watch myself, and I think that's normal. And then I just really, when you assume that's the case with other people, because you yourself feel that, and I don't feel special, it's strange, because then you start assuming people have this, like, they're doing this satire on life. Like, every time somebody screams at like another person, or just yells, or just selfish, it's like I'm assuming, oh, they mentally went through and processed how this would affect the other person. They weighed the pros and cons. They weighed their needs versus the other's needs, and their empathy came into play. And they, after all of that, they decided to override it and, unload. And when really, it's just that they don't even think about it, which is like alien in my head. I don't understand how people just love flashy surface things, and they don't look at stuff. I mean, I understand it's easier in a way, but I also just, I don't think it is ultimately. It's just uncomfortable to, like, it is uncomfortable to just hold yourself back, but at the same time, there's no smooth thing, because I would just feel very embarrassed if I blew up on other people. And, they just project on you anyway. Like, you can have family who, as in your childhood, they just kind of like put you down, or just, they're very adversarial. And when you grow up, you kind of just see it, and you're like looking at them sort of running in circles, and you're like, why are you still doing what you're doing, or what you did? And, it's just like, at that point, you can't stop them. You can't stop them from going around in circles. So it's like, I just decide to step back or just not engage or just not humor because, it's family and, I don't think you should just make drama just to make drama. But people just rope you into stuff. They'll rope you in, they'll just fucking emotionally barf on you. And it's like, please, man, just leave me alone. You know, I feel like there's this thing where it's like, you know, trying not to be, the bad guy or trying not to be the lazy one. And it comes out because, I feel like it's hard sometimes because of how unrewarded doing that is. The issue is if you like restrain yourself and you kind of take the other person into account most of the time. A lot of the times, most people just won't, for one, recognize that. They won't acknowledge that because they don't understand and don't see it. Two, it's not actually like very satisfying in the moment either. And the payoff is like variable. It could not even be satisfying anyway. It's uh yeah, but it's hard just trying to not flatten people because, you know, stereotypes and generalizations, they're not good because they're dehumanizing. But I think the one of the worst feelings is when you actively challenge those things in your head. You're like, okay, you know, I don't flatten everybody in this group. Or, oh, just because people don't think the way I think doesn't mean that they're worse or they're dumb or they're not, they're just different or something. They're just different. Instead, but then they'll treat you like you're dumb, or you'll just be like frustrated when people who you pour your energy to just disappoint you and hurt you, even, and then they have the veil of being like, oh, I didn't realize, and it's just like you're putting up with their bullshit and their sloppiness, and it's just annoying to deal with all the time. So, yeah. Thank you for listening.